ready?
You're good to go.
Y'all have heard of Murphy's Law, right? This whole idea that anything that can go wrong will go wrong. A lot of us probably have stories in which something's gone wrong and then another thing's gone wrong, and I wanted to tell you a story about an instance like that for me. So it was the summer between my sophomore and junior year. I was heading over to a pool party for the end of the summer, and it was probably 2 weeks of having a driver's license. So I was driving on my way to this apartment complex. I had my phone on my dashboard with the GPS, and as I'm approaching the turn, my phone glitches and I end up missing the turn. So that's not a huge deal, that's not something that went horribly wrong, but I'm just thinking I'll just find a place to go U-turn. So up ahead I see the entrance to a gated community that has just this perfect place to turn around. And that's exactly what I do. I did everything perfectly. I did exactly what I was supposed to do, and my front right tire just goes flat. I didn't hit anything. I still, to this day, do not know what happened. So I'm still in a good mood. I'm still going to the pool party, so I'm just thinking it's probably the safest place to park is at the apartment complex where the pool party is. And that's exactly what I do. So I pull into the apartment complex, I park there, and my friends meet me up there. And I have these two friends named Alec and Will. And these guys are just huge car enthusiasts. So they're just begging me to let them fix my tire. And I'm like, no guys, I gotta call my parents first. And that's exactly what I do. So I call my parents, it's their anniversary, they're on a romantic date night. And so, not really enjoying hearing that their kid got a flat tire on their anniversary date night. So they're just telling me, just call roadside assistance, they'll fix up your tire, you'll be all good. And my friends are just saying, no, don't do that. That's a horrible idea. You have no idea the consequences of calling roadside assistance. And this was the first time I'd ever been in a situation like this, so I'm listening to both sides almost equally, even though I should have been listening to my parents more. So now I have this decision of either trusting my parents and calling roadside assistance, or doing the fun, more entertaining way and letting my friends fix the tire. And this wouldn't be a good story if I obeyed my parents. So of course I went with my friends. And so I hang up the phone after saying, I'll have this handled, and I let my friends get to work. And to be fair, they were doing a really good job. They spent a good amount of time meticulously working on this tire. And by the end of it, my parents called back, and they're like, hey, has the repairman arrived yet? And I was like, now I'm in a dilemma, because I don't want to tell them that I blatantly disobeyed them, but I also don't want to tell them what's really happening. So I have to word my way out of it. Here it's called quibbling, but this was before it was a bad thing. So I tell them that the tire is being fixed, and that worked perfectly. They were like, thank God, we're so glad you did the responsible thing. I'm like, yeah, I did do the responsible thing. And so I hang up the phone, my friends are like, all right, now we need to test out this tire. I want you to drive as slowly as possible around this apartment complex just to make sure it's safe. And like I said, my friends did a really good job fixing this tire. It's just, the one thing they didn't do was check it for air before they put it on. So it immediately went flat. And now I'm in a predicament where I have two flat tires. And so at this point, still in a pretty good mood. I decided to call roadside assistance at that point and let a professional handle it. And then my parents call back and they're like, hey, is the tire fixed yet? And I'm not gonna lie to my parents, so of course I tell them, yeah, I kinda let my friends try and fix it, and now the spare's flat. And they were absolutely livid with me. They were about to get into this really long lecture, and then I just hear dead silence over the phone. And at this point, I thought I died. This was the sound of death. And I wasn't necessarily wrong. It was the sound of death. It was just the death of my phone. So I have a dead phone. I have two flat tires. And at this point, I'm just really frustrated because nothing's going right. And I'm beginning to be able to see that nothing's going to be going right today. So I throw my phone in the car. I slam the door shut. And right as I do that, my friend comes up. He's He says, "Is there anything I can do for you? You look pretty frustrated." I'm like, "Hey, can I borrow a charger?" He's like, "Yeah, absolutely, just get me your phone." I go to open my door, door's locked, with the keys inside, and my phone, and the parking brake is on, meaning that if a tow truck were to come, that car's not going anywhere. So I get my friend's phone, I call my parents, I tell them the entire situation, and they say, "All right, we're leaving our romantic date night to come bring you a spare key." And that, nothing feels worse than that. So that's exactly what they do. They bring a key, and as you can probably tell, it wasn't the right key. So now we have to call my brother and ask him to bring a key. And so he comes all the way from home to this apartment complex with another wrong key. And so right as my brother had got there, luckily the first tow truck, notice how I said the first tow truck, they come along and we tell them the entire situation. We say all the parking brake's on, the keys are in the car, the door's locked. And he says, "We're not gonna be able to do anything about this until we're able to get the door open. So we're gonna have to call another tow truck that's an hour away to come and open the door for you." And so that's another hour of awkwardly waiting with my angry parents for another tow truck to come. And eventually it did, and I can happily say that that's where the story ends. After 2 flat tires, 2 wrong spare keys, a dead phone, a locked door, everything just went wrong that day. But as of today, I can say that's a funny story that I can tell to people, and that's kind of the message I want to bring across. Even when everything goes wrong, and you can look back and say Murphy's Law took effect, you can look back on it positively, because that's the way I'm looking at my situation right now. Thank you.